Welcome viewers to another very special episode of Your Britain. Yes, Your Britain every Monday 5 p.m. UK time only on Kanshi TV Sky channel 772, broadcasting to over 180 countries around the globe. Yes, 180 countries are watching this live transmission at this particular moment, and every week, as you know, we have special guests in here in the studio, new faces, new topics, new subjects, and today it's going to be exactly the same. We have a very special individual who's been operating in our community for over 30 years. But just before I introduce our special guest, let me remind you that for whatever reason, if you missed this evening's program, not to worry, you can catch the repeat on Friday 2 p.m. UK time. So you can watch this program again 2 p.m. on Friday, and also through social media, WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, and many other media devices and media apps which are being run by Kanshi TV. By all means, if you want to call us in the studio, it's 0121 502 4304. This is a live transmission, live call 0300 770 2246, and the WhatsApp number, which I find very interesting, and it's one of the best ways how people get in contact with me here in the studio, because all your messages are coming directly onto my phone here, 0776 598 7635. So these are the couple of ways how you can contact us regarding your questions, opinions, and of course, you know, you can express your views about any of the programs on Kanshi TV, particularly Your Britain. And Your Britain, as you know very well, has been running on for many years now, where we have people from all platforms, whether it's religious, political, social, welfare, charitable. We make sure that everybody comes on Your Britain and gets an equal opportunity to express their views and concerns. And in most cases, many of our viewers have also witnessed this, that we have programs and politicians coming from abroad as well, whether it's India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, you know, to come and express their views on Your Britain. So basically, it's a hub for yourself, you know, where people come from all walks of life to participate in this fantastic program. Thank you very much once again for your kind love and continued support for supporting Kanshi TV, your #1 entertainment channel. Believe you me, we have thousands of viewers right across the globe, whether it's from United Arabs, whether it's the Indian sub, whether it's Rus down South Africa, you name it. Kanshi TV is always got their coverage somehow into these countries as well. So 180 countries, there's a lot of countries watching this Kanshi TV on Sky Channel 772. This evening, I have a very special guest here in the studio with me in the name of Robert Wilkinson. First and foremost, Wilkinson. First and foremost, let me just introduce you to Robert. But just before I do that, let me officially welcome you to Kanshi TV. Let me welcome you to Your Britain. Thank you very much, sir, for coming this evening to my program, sir.
Thank you, Brother Shazad. It's really nice for me to come on your program at Kanshi TV on Your Britain. You know, it's a program what I watch occasionally, and not all the time, because I'm a hard worker like everybody else, put a lot of hours in, but I'm particularly interested how you pick up community issues, you know, talk about community issues. I feel that's very important.
Thank you very much. As I said in my introduction, you know, whether it comes to political figures, religious figures, community work. I mean, a couple of months back, we had all the candidates from the political parties attending here when we had the Metro Mayor elections, we had the police commissioner elections, we had everybody on board coming here, you know, turn by turn to express their views. So it's a great platform for all our communities.
That's right.
Robert, I know that for the last 30 years or so, and many of my viewers will probably see, watching you on screen right now, that for 30 years you have been organising fantastic fun fairs for the residents of Birmingham. I know previously you've been working not just in Birmingham, across the Black Country and around the whole of West Midlands, but lately your work's been involved, particularly in Birmingham. When I'm referring to Birmingham, I'm talking about the main parks in Birmingham. You've got Cannon Hill Park, you've got Warden Park, help me out,
Smallheath Park, Sparkhill Park.
Park, there you go, mate. You know,
we're at Across Green at the moment.
There you go. So basically, you're around the main parks in Birmingham. Robert, first and foremost, you're putting a smile to particular our youngsters, our young generation, because everybody loves fairs. I mean, let me be very honest with you. I still love the fun fairs, particularly the bumper cars. I would do anything. In fact, I can stay there for non-stop 8-hour shift. I can play on the bumper cars, ride the bumper cars all day.
Everybody loves the bumper cars.
So there's no age for bumper cars. I can assure you that. But anyway, kids, you're putting smile on their faces. They love going to the fairs. They love going with their families, friends, and so on. The great environment that you're providing, the safety element, which we'll be talking about a bit later on in the program. First and foremost, Robert, how did you manage to get into this 33 years ago, sir?
Well, my mum and dad, they used to travel the fairs with other people, other fairground operators, mainly around the Nottingham and Derbyshire area. And my dad had 2 round stalls and a little train ride. And he done that for quite a few years, and he attended lots of small events and things like that. And then he moved to the seaside, Mablethorpe and Cleethorpes, which a lot of showmen do things like that. But unfortunately for my mum and dad, they had a few years there, and they even actually had an house. But everything went wrong, and they lost everything, as much as you could lose. I mean, the home, the furniture, the jewellery, everything. Oh God. And I was that proud of my dad, how he come back at his time of life, and he finished up operating 5 children's rides, a bouncy castle, and an inflatable fun bag, and I was really proud. But I always wanted to put a fair on myself, because I thought I had a different way of organising a fair. And also I wanted to give good value, you know what I mean? The price structure was very important to me. And luckily for me, I went and spoke to Birmingham City Council, me and my dad. And I had the luck of going to a ward meeting all them years ago at Sheldon, which was my first fair in Birmingham. And the chairman at the time was a lovely guy called Mike Nangle, former Lord Mayor. The vice chairman, Mike Nangle, was Labour, and there was a lovely woman called Pat Forrester. She's not with us anymore, she died. It was a Conservative. And they gave me the nod to visit that fair site, and that was the first fair site I ever attended at Sheldon. And it's I think that area must be very unique, Sheldon, because for years and years it seems to be a lot of the same councillors, and sadly one of the Liberal councillors, Neil Eustace, has just died there.
Just passed away a couple of weeks back.
And I can remember Neil being on the original committee all them years ago, voted to say I could go to Sheldon.
Excellent.
And every time I used to see Mike Nangle, and I was on the Lord Mayor Show Committee at the time, and I had the pleasure of working for him, and if I bumped into him in the council house, because obviously that's the way I got in there, being on that committee, I used to say, it's your fault. And he used to laugh, you know what I mean? He's a lovely man. He died.
Robert, let me, because I've got many questions, and I can assure you already I've got people WhatsApping me through WhatsApp, and right, just before we head away to these questions, I've got a few questions which I need to ask you. Lately, you've been involved with kids' sport clubs, football, cricket, and many other clubs, sport facilities which have been provided in Birmingham by community organisation, and you're playing your part very much in these community events. And I think it's a great honour for all our communities to have somebody like yourself guiding us and putting us on the right path of particularly our youngsters. Now, how do you sort of, you've got these fun fairs to run, you've got these community events to run, you've got sports clubs to run. How do you fit all this in within your time?
Well,
And you just told me just before we went on air that, for many years you're working on the weekends as well. So
well, we always, as showmen, we work weekends. Saturdays and Sundays are our main days. So unfortunately, the kids have got a bit neglected over the years. We don't take them out weekends like a lot of other people do. But, lucky for me, lots of the things I do revolve around the fair, and I learned that a long time ago. If you can use the fair as a backdrop, then it's a lot easier, and I invite people in with stalls or whatever. I enjoy being part of local community groups, such as like Friends of the Park at Small Leaf. For instance, I've been litter picking with them, Mohammed Jamil, he's been there 30 years and still going strong. An exemplary man,
the sports side of things, because I'm more interested in what you're doing for our young generation, because that is really what I'm interested in, to be honest with you. Don't you worry, I've got some files here in front of me. Viewers, as you can see, there's one folder, there's two folders, and I've got another third one, which is just here. Now, definitely you'll probably say, what's going on here? So many folders, and what's inside these folders? Just give me a few minutes and I'll tell you exactly what's inside those folders. But just before we do that,
I think one of the things what stand out to me is Ward End, because in Ward End, Alan Rock, they used to have a football team a long time ago called the Morris Boys.
Okay.
And it is there, one of the photos, and I was very lucky that they asked me my opinion at the time, because I bought the lads the first kit. It was an honour for me to do it.
Okay.
And I said, I think you should represent Alan Rock and call yourself Alan Rock United. And the boys did that. And you know what? From all them years ago, them same young men who's on the photo in there now are leaders in the community. They're actually, you know, they're doing things in the community for the young kids. I mean, look, for a couple of years, I've not been myself, bit of ill health and that, so I've lost touch a little bit. But I'm always there for them, and we're very close, you know what I mean? We're very close. So, you know, I feel so humble to know so many good people within the Muslim community who give so much. So if you know good people, they inspire you to do your bit.
Of course. Now, what you've just mentioned, that, you know, it was a privilege for you to provide for these youngsters, whether it was kits or whether it was footballs or whether it was anything else to do with the sport. That must have been a great privilege for you, and it must have been exceptional for the community, because many of those people within those areas that you have mentioned, sometimes, not all the families, but some families are struggling to make ends meet at this particular. We've just got a live call. Let me just get back to you on this one, Wilson. Hello, you're Britain.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Ji wa alaikum salam.
It's Shaukat here. I just want to speak to Rob, please.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Rob, it's Shaukat here from Warden Mega Mela.
Right, go ahead. Shaukat is listening to your question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that without Rob being in Alan Rock and in part of the Mega Mela team, it wasn't possible for it to grow year in, year out. He's helped us awesome, and not just us, the whole Alan Rock and Warden community as well. I would just take my hat off to him. Without him, Mega Mela wouldn't be where he is today. So I just want to say big up to him and make sure that his health is in good health, because he did have a little scare last couple of months ago.
Of course, and this is the reason why, you know, we felt that we need to put him onto this community program, because as you can understand, Shaukat, you know, the amount of work that you're doing, you know, I got a visual of who I'm speaking to now, but the amount of work that you're doing as well is great for our community. But when you're, you know, collaborating with other individuals like Robert, then it makes things much more easier and much more beneficial for our communities. So I think you're doing a great job as well as Roberts. Keep up the excellent work, and you know, we're always there for you.
Yeah,
this
because from day one, from day one when I seen Robert, I introduced myself, and from there, Robert's never called me by my name. He's always called me Brother Shaukat. Of course. And that's the way we work together. So he's part of our family, not just part of our team.
God bless you, sir. God bless you. Thank you very much for your kind call, and keep up the excellent work. Okay, Shaukat? Wish you all the best in the coming future. Thank you.
There's a prime example,
right?
A Shaukat. People who make me feel humble, and the little ways I can help them is like when they get the generators dropped off in the park. They always put them in near my caravan, so I guard them and things like that. You know.
So I was. Let me head back to my question, which was half completed. So we're still at the other half. Now I was saying some of these residents living in parts of Birmingham are not very well off. Not all of them, but there's a majority who are extremely finding it difficult to afford footballs. And I mean, nowadays, I'll be honest with you, let me, you know, since I've mentioned this, I went a couple of weeks back, just because my son is a bit of a, you know, if he wants something, he wants something, there's no two ways about it. So it took me down to Fort, you know, the shopping retail park in Birmingham, and it took me into JD and the other shop, you know, the soccer sports or whatever you call them. Honest to God, Robert, £25 for a football. And I was in this, maybe you probably say cuckoo world or something. I thought, a couple of quid or £5 or something a football would cost him, you know, and that'll put a smile on his face. But seriously speaking, when I was in those stores, and those footballs, Adidas or Nike or whatever they were, you know, whichever make they were, £25 for a single football, let alone the football kits and let alone the socks and the shoes and everything else. So not everybody is that fortunate. Not every parent in Ward End or Allen Rock or Smallheath is that fortunate to afford it. So, you know, it's some great work that you're doing for our communities. How are you in the coming future? Obviously, you know, you've mentioned some of the activities that you're taking place in supporting the communities. In the coming future, what's your plan, sir?
Well, look,
for youngsters,
I always aim, you know, to be more involved in the community and simple stuff, you know what I mean? If there's people out there who are doing good work in the community, I've always made them welcome to come on the fair with a stall, you know, to perhaps raise some money, you know, for the community. If anybody comes to me and says, look, just the other week when I was in Ward End, good friend Muhammad Ali, he said, Rob, I'm bringing the kids down. I said, well, that's okay. I said, look, we'll give them some tickets afterwards. Excellent. And both weeks they come down and we give them a couple of 100 tickets to give to the kids. Excellent. So, and it's the same with Smallheath, you see. To encourage the kids to help the litter picking at Smallheath, Mohammed Jamil now, what we say is that any children who are friends of the park, they're friends of the fair.
Of course.
So we look after them. We look after them. And that gives them a little incentive.
You know, let me also ask you this. It's a very sensitive question, as I said, because in Birmingham, particularly in the areas that you're operating in, as I said before, families are very vulnerable, financially vulnerable, where they can't afford to pay. For example, if somebody's got 4 kids or 5 kids and 2 adults, I mean, I don't know what the ticket prices are, but generally speaking, if they're £5 or something, right?
No. But you know what? I'll tell you something now, what I've never shared with anybody else. And I'm going to share this with you today.
It's only me and you here, by the way. Nobody else.
Nobody else out there.
Nobody's listening to us.
For 15 years, I was 50 pence a ride. I was the cheapest fare in the country. Even though we've put our prices up now, and I'll tell you the reason. About 8 years ago, it rained on it seemed to rain every Saturday or Sunday. And in that particular year, I lost around £60,000. And I've been all them years, believe it or not, trying to catch up. And it's only this year I finally paid money off. And Birmingham City Council have been very, very good to me.
Excellent. Excellent.
I mean, you know, I had a bit of pressure, yeah, but I said, look, I lost this money trying to do the right thing, making the fare affordable, exactly that, for the people who can't afford to go away.
Is that, do you charge anything for entry, by the way? Because
we do.
Viewers probably think, right.
No, we do. We charge £1 for entry.
Right. So let's get this right. So you charge entry is at £1, and rides are.
The children's rides now are £1.50. In 2019, there was £1.
Okay. So at the moment, it's £1.50 a ride for kids.
Kids
and adults.
Adult rides are £2. They was £1.50 in 2019.
Right. So generally speaking, what I'm trying to get at this is that, you know, if you've got a family of 4, for example, I mean, you know, many Asian families, we have more than 4, to be honest with you. So on average, you're talking about maybe about 20 quid for a day out or something, 25 quid, probably a bit more than that, to be honest.
And we're still cheaper. A lot of the most of the fares are £2.50 for a children's ride.
Of course.
So even though people notice that my prices go up, they have to.
My question, the reason why I'm asking this is for a particular question, and the question is for those individuals or those families who want to come to the fair, but for financial strain and reasoning they can't afford to spend 30, 40, 50 pound. How do they get about this? I mean, do they come to you and say, look, hi Robert, I'd love to come to your fair, but I'm a struggling mother, I'm a struggling father, I can't afford to pay this. Is there any way that you then, you know, sort of say, okay, we can either do this for you or we can do this for you and support you and help you, but we don't want to turn the kids away from the fairground?
Well, look, all I can say is I've always tried to be very reasonable with people, and I've treated lots of people, give them a few free ride tickets, you know what I mean? Many. But unfortunately, and this is the thing that I've racked my brains with, like you say, how do you do that? You know, how do I say that you can come in like for nothing and I give you tickets? I thought about it. Let's just say, for instance, there's somebody unemployed and I say, bring some proof and you get a reduction. But what about the people who are working? who's on low income.
Yeah, then
do you know what I mean? How do you differentiate? You know what I mean?
Are you not funded by government or by the city council in any way? Are they because you've been in it for 33 odd years?
Oh.
I mean now I know the council for the last 12 years is run by controlled by the Labour Party here in Birmingham, but previously we've had the Tories, Lib Dems, we've had everybody in there. Are you not being supported? 33 years is a long time of somebody's life to trade in one business.
No,
Nobody supported you?
I have to say, the support I get is by the city council allowing me to use the parks. But to use the parks, I pay. We pay, £450 a day operating days, because I have proper AIS badge security. That costs me another 300 or 400 quid a day. I have the fencing round the fair so no children can wander off. So I'm on operating every day. It costs me a minimum of about £1,400 with the staff and everything and the fuel. As soon as I open my gates on that fair, it's £1,400 quid.
£1,400 for the
£1,400 a day on an opening day.
Right, okay.
And that includes fuel for the generators, staff to operate the rides, the daily rent, and the security on the entrance, and that's without the toilets and the skip, things like that.
So you're talking average about £2,000 or something? Roughly.
Basic stuff, it's a lot of money.
Roughly £2,000 a day, just to put up the fares, just to operate and open the doors for the public.
People think that we don't pay anything. They think that we just roll up and settle.
The ride's going on.
Far from wrong. Far from right.
Let me also come back, because you've touched a bit about health and safety just a second ago, when you're putting the fences up. How safe are these fairs in terms of safety for children? Because don't forget, we have young children coming in here at the age of 4 or 5. How safe is the environment, sir?
Fairgrounds in this country are very safe. Now look, I'm an old-fashioned person, and I'll touch wood, because I always do that. All our rides are tested annually each year, and then what showmen do, they work on their rides throughout the winter, doing maintenance, and that's part of the culture of being a showman. The culture is you earn money with your rides to then be able to generate money to spend back on the rides to keep the culture going as a showman. So now. Only yesterday, the organisation what I'm involved with, the Association of Independent Showmen, 2 of our delegates had a 3-hour meeting with the health and safety just to have a top-up, and that was at near Sandbach, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was Sandbach.
So basically, all safe, all under control.
All safe. I
mean, you can't guarantee anything, of course. There's no guarantee on anything. I'm going to take you to that point, because why I said there's no guarantee. If you remember a couple of years back, the incidents we had in Alton Towers, the incidents we had in Drayton Manor, and many other parks, I can start naming them, but just to give you an example and give our viewers just an indication of what I'm talking about. Some rides fail, people have lost their lives there. I mean, this is why I put this question forward to you. How safe are your rides, and how safe is the environment and the park that you book your fun fairs? That was the whole point of asking this.
Well, I would say this to you. You're looking at 2 separate things. When you're looking at settled down amusement parks like Drayton Manor and Alton Towers, and then the travelling showman, we always think as travelling showman, and our Showmen's Guild and Association of Independent Showmen will put it over all the time and say, because we take our rides up and down each week, then you've got more of a chance of seeing if there's anything wearing or wrong with them, whereas maybe on a look, I don't want to say that parks are not safe, because I'm sure they are, but we feel as travelling showmen that our safety record is much better than the static parks.
That's fine. It's your opinion, and everybody's entitled to their opinion.
We've actually tried to get it. Funny enough, we've actually this year trying to get it separated, our figures from the statics, to be honest.
Let me just come back to something else. We've had a question just coming in from Mr. Khan. Do you run any circuses?
No, I've got friends what run his circuses.
Are you planning, or is there a particular reason why you're not, linking from both sides, from the funfair side and to the circus, or has that never been your interest?
It's a good question, a very good question, and it's a thing that I've thought about before, but we don't really know. I think that if a particular area could sustain that amount of money going out, the circus and the fair being there at the same time.
Okay.
You know, I think that's why they don't actually, you know, set up together, to be honest.
I don't know, you can probably correct me this, but I know, not now because we've been in COVID for the last approximately 2 years or something, but before that, I've seen some circuses, but at the same time, I've seen fun fairs next to the circuses where they run the shows as well.
Yeah, probably be at bigger events where there's a lot more bigger attendance.
Okay, I understand, and of course it costs in thousands to run up a circus.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, a lot involved in a circus. You know,
a lot more.
We're very close to circus people in a way, in our cultures. You know, and I mean, I've got a very good friend, Bobby Roberts. You know, he's famous for his elephants and things like that. You know, and they run a first-class circus. You know, first class.
Okay, now I've got a few more questions. I've still got some questions pouring in. I've got people waiting on the line. I promise you, just give me a few minutes and I'll take a few more calls if I possibly can. But just before I do that, what I want to draw the attention of our viewers is that you have got some fantastic letters of appreciation. Now, viewers, it's going to be very impossible for me to go through every single, you know, letter. As you can see, it's not just one folder. I've got about 3 folders, and every single one here, there's letters of appreciation, whether it's been from primary schools. I mean, you know, I've got one in front of me here from Kings Norton Primary School. I've got Saltley Youth Group. I've got United Avenue Project, which is a church. Blue Knights England. If I move on, I've got League of the Friends of John Taylor Spice, Fox Hollis Community Centre, and the list goes on. I just haven't got the time. Sparkle Youth Association presents, Department of Education and Employment. And you've got another one, the Society of Parents and Children with Cancer. Now that is really touching. Yeah. And as I said, you have some cuttings from newspapers and so on. So viewers, as I said, there is so much in these folders which you can see. There's another one here. Very briefly, I'm gonna. You've got something from the Worcestershire as well. You've got Fun for Kids 2010. I mean, this is going back, Robert, nearly 20-25 years. Some of the articles I'm looking at here. You've got the Lord Mayors, and you've got almost every single Lord Mayor who's been thanking you, and the city councillors who have been thanking you, to be honest with you. From all political parties, they have been supporting you. I can see another one here, which is again sort of touched me because it's something with the Lincoln Cancer Group or something. So there are so many. There's another one, the Beautiful Game, again supporting young people here playing football, as you can see. So these are some of the great community work that you are doing. I mean, I'm to be honest with you, I'm just absolutely. I haven't got the words, you know.
I think it's your duty, you know, when you are travelling around an area. Because I travel solely in Birmingham, except for me going to Chamberlain Wood twice a year, which is very close. But I think it's a duty of a person who's earning the living off people, you know, to support people, you know, local things, local groups if they can. And
that's the 3rd folder, which I'm getting. Oh, there you go. You've got something which is very heart-touching. If you don't mind, I can take this out.
No, of course, yeah.
I mean, this one here is young children, I think probably, you know, a few years old, thanking I'll just have to cover the photo, but I can just put the thank you out there because obviously we've got some kids there. So thanking you basically for you know, for setting up and helping and supporting them, particularly the youngsters. It's unbelievable, and the amount of work that you're doing for the NHS. I'm seeing some more articles helping.
That was a nice one. Flick back. I was approached then about they had the holiday money pinch. That was a long time ago.
It says fair owner saves pupils holidays. Well, there you go. This was, I mean, I think this is
a long time ago.
Years back, mate. I mean, you're talking nearly 25 years.
Well, you know, the thing is with them old books, what I wanted to show you is consistency. When you invited me on here to talk about the work, I've not just done something for a couple of years.
Robert, let me just mention this, the cancer research campaign. I mean, you're just not putting smiles on kids' faces. It's even people who medically, you know, like the cancer research. The one I just mentioned a couple of seconds ago. You know, you got another one here from King's Standing School. You've got, it's just, Absolutely phenomenal what you've got here.
The thing is, the thing is, brother Shazad, you know, I used to think, you know, when I first started out, and I was a young showman, and I never had a lot. We've never had any money because we bought rides, and they've always been on finance like you do. Because, like I said, we started off with nothing, and where was I going with that now? I got, you know, getting on a bit now. I mean, I'm forgetting things.
You can. Meanwhile, just let me show this because this hasn't got any pictures on, but it's a very, very appreciating card on behalf of the Highfield School. I would like to thank you. I mean, this is absolutely, you know, kids got their drawings on there and kids got their writings and so on.
I used to take them some turkeys at Christmas for the old people.
Right. Now I see. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic work that you're doing, particularly with the youngsters. You know,
pardon me.
You got Northfield Youth Forum you're working with?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
A long time ago, I heard about people, you know, giving £1,000 and all that, a donation. And I wasn't in that league. But do you know, so I never did it. But do you know when I was a member of Norton Keynes Parish Council, where I went to, and I'm still a councillor there now, I'm pleased to say. Excellent. And then I realised every year when we give grants to the local community how the judo club might get £100 and somebody else might get 50. And I thought to myself, hang on, you haven't got to give that much. Give what you can afford.
Of course.
And if you can only afford to give £50 or £100, I mean, it sticks in my mind Sheldon, my first fair I ever went to, and I give the people who had the stroke club there, and I give them £50 years ago, but that was for tea and biscuits. It never went far, but it was better than nothing.
I can see you know, you're working with action groups as well. I mean, you're working with the Housing Action Trust in Castlewell. I can see that. There's thank you cards in front of me here. You're working with the Charmsley Wood football charity. You're working with Garrett's Green Nursery. You're working with.
That was the project when we had I paid for some road safety to be marked out in about 5 schools, you know, around the city.
Fantastic.
And they put the little roadway round. Pardon me. And they learnt the kids road safety.
Well, viewers, as I says to you, I've quickly flipped through these folders, and this is basically Robert's life. You know, it's basically, he's got his life right in front of us. I mean, you can see these folders, as I said. I've briefly, I couldn't go through every single article. We haven't just got the time, Robert. I'd love to, but we haven't got so
I'll tell you what
time.
I would like to mention. A few years ago, I think it was the winter of 2018, I seen these 2 gentlemen, Wajid Balthi and Javed Iqbal.
Okay.
And I was at a friends of Small Leaf meeting. Okay. And they came there and they said about how they wanted to do a street watch to keep drugs and prostitution off the streets because of the young children and the ladies in the area. And at the time, you know, I mean, I go through hard times financially like everybody else, and I couldn't give any money, but I give me time. And you know what? I used to come from Cannock, and the boys will tell you, and we used to start work at 10 o'clock at Ward End, you know, Washwood Heath Road, and finish at 1 o'clock in the morning. And when I tell you, that was the best time in my life, and people might think, well, how could that be the best time in your life? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the comradeship and the friendship again from there, and the talks what we had in them 3 hours, you know what I mean? Marvellous.
And let me tell you something, viewers. You know, this is an album which he has going back many, many years. I mean, this is going back 13th of September 2000. So what are we now? 2021, ain't we? So this is going back 21 years, nearly 22 years. And to be honest with you, you weren't that bad looking, to be honest.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm not now.
I had to say that.
Well, no, well, thank you. And I would apologise to the viewers, you know, because my mouth's a bit messed up and I'm having it worked on, but I had a bad accident with an angle grinder.
You look like a superhero here, man. I can see all the pictures and albums and everything in front of me here, and there's some more here as well, working with, you know, adults and community groups and so on. There's tons
I'll tell you what I am going to do. You asked me what I got planned for the future.
Of course, of course.
When I first started in Birmingham, I used to put sports days on, you know, and have the wallywanging and things like that.
Okay.
and even though I've done lots more things, hiring clowns in and Punch and Judy shows and you know, and I've got a great DJ, Johnny Dean, who works with the kids and does games. What I'm going to do
Go on then.
next year, because obviously COV did it, I'm going to revive the sports days. So you come down with your kids, and we have the three-legged race, we have the sack race, and it's all free.
Okay.
And you know, and I'll be somewhere around, you know, doing something.
Excellent.
And the kids can come down, have some fun for nothing, and win something for nothing.
Well, there you go. Now you've
That's going to be my thing. You asked me for 2022.
Well, I'll tell you what now, since you've said that, I think it's just going to be fair for me now to say that, you know, I would really want to run a competition.
Lovely.
And I'll tell you why, viewers, because I'm going to be, just for our youngsters, you know, our kids watching this program. I know there's thousands around the United Kingdom, not just in the UK, but of course around the globe, but particularly in the UK, England, Scotland, Wales, so on. Particularly from the West Midlands, I have many people messaging me back regarding, you know, Your Britain programs and so on. So what I'm going to request with Robert's permission, that if we can run a competition, because I know that this is the last month, end of October you'll be packing up your fun fairs, because winter's coming, and you know, it makes sense, logic sense that you won't be out. So you'll have November, December, January, February, then come March again, hopefully March, April time, you'll be running throughout the whole year again.
We will.
Till October sort of time again.
We will.
Right, okay, so what we're going to do for the next 2 weeks is, Robert, I think, you know, I'm going to be on the side of my viewers now. I think we should give, or you should give, 20 tickets to our winners. Now we'll put a question forward. Let me think of something very quickly. Let me think of something, right? And believe me, this is on spot. This is on spot, something I'm thinking of what I can put us forward and ask the viewers if they can answer this question. You and your kids and your family can go to these fun fairs, which will be taking part in Small Eat in the half term that's coming up. Now I haven't got the exact date for the half term.
Subject to council permission, which I'm sure they'll say because,
of course.
You know.
So hopefully, you know, if you've been doing it for 33 years, you've never been refused. There's no reason you'll be refused again. But anyway, coming half term, October half term 2021, if you want to win tickets, then we have 20 tickets to give you. By all means, you know, you can take your little ones free of charge to enjoy the fun fair. And I think this is a great privilege and pleasure for Robert to sort of give us the permission to go ahead with that. And it'll put so many smiles on children's faces and so on. Now, the question I have for you viewers, you can obviously, I'll be mentioning the winners maybe in next week's program, but meanwhile you can have a think about this for a whole week, and you can contact us via my Facebook Messenger and so on. And if you are the lucky winner who gets this right, then we'll make sure that you get those tickets given to you. We'll try to divide the tickets as much as we possibly can, so basically, you know, 2 or 3 to each family, so we can get more people coming to the fair and more kids to come and enjoy. So it won't be 20 tickets gone to one family. I mean, that's you know, it doesn't work that way. So we'll have more families. And to be honest with you, I think earlier on when I spoke to Robert off, he says, look, I'm willing to even give 50 tickets. I don't mind. You know, I'm doing everything for the community. This is the community that has made me for 33 years. Today is payback time. And I don't mind if I can support those vulnerable and less fortunate families, you know, financially less fortunate families in our communities. So he was willing to give away 50 tickets. So I said, look, we'll settle for 20 for the time being, or 25 either way, something like that. And then come back next year in March. I promise you, Robert will be back here just before he sets up, and he'll provide all the information that between myself and him which is required, so we can run the next year's shows for you, and you know exactly which park the fun fairs are taking place in. The question I want to put forward to our viewers is, how long, I think this is a fair one, Robert, how long has Robert been operating fun fairs in Birmingham? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that's a good question.
Is that a fair one, you think?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question.
And I think I've already given them the answer 3 times in the program. If they were listening carefully.
If they were listening.
If you were listening carefully, you know what the answer is. How long has Robert been operating this fun fair in Birmingham, right? Okay, so if you can get that right, then, you know, courtesy of Kanshi TV, we'll be giving you, and courtesy of Your Britain, we'll be giving you 20 free tickets, 20, maybe 25. Who knows, if he's in a good mood, you probably get 50, but at the moment, this is what we're sticking to. So the first people to contact me via my Facebook page, which is Shehzad Iqbal, you can message me, and, you know, all the promos are running on my Facebook page anyway, and then you can collect the tickets of a suitable chosen location between the winner and myself. So hopefully, we want your answers. You got the whole week, and then hopefully next Monday I'll announce a couple of winners, and they can collect the tickets, you know, free of charge, and enjoy these beautiful fun fair and events which have been organised for our communities. And this is, you know, I must say this is no financial gain to anybody, to Robert, to anybody else. This is just the courtesy of supporting our community, particularly those vulnerable, less fortunate individuals in our community. And believe me, you know, there are some cases that when you see children who are from less fortunate families, and people are probably thinking we're living in the third, fourth, fifth richest country in the world, you know, who in the right state of mind lives, you know, on basically a day-to-day living. Believe me, viewers, there are thousands of people, millions of people who are surviving on a daily basis. And this is absolutely true, Robert. There are many, many people from all communities right across the board who are surviving from hand to mouth.
It's hard times.
You know, it's hard times.
Yeah.
So this is something to put a smile on your children's faces. And, you know, I can't just thank Robert more than enough, to be honest with you, who is next year has just promised you now that he'll be running more sports clubs, more facilities for our youngsters, and it's free of charge. And this great deed that he's doing, you know, this individual, this man has worked 33, 34, 35 years of his life, and money, as he mentioned before, is not a primary issue, you know, it's not a primary subject. It's to help the community, and sometimes when I'm even driving past some of these, you know, fun fairs, especially towards Smallheath or Stetchford, I know there's a Stetchford one that you did as well, Acock Green, earlier on, I was in Acock Green, you know, the other side of Acock Green today, and I've seen your banners on the roundabouts and so on. You know, it's absolutely a fantastic way of supporting our community. Robert, we only, I believe, have approximately 6 or 7 minutes. I don't know where the time's gone, to be honest with you.
It flies, doesn't it?
I don't know where the time's
It's like your life.
Exactly.
Flashes before you.
I don't know where the time's gone. Anything else you feel is important to mention and highlight? 180 countries watching, thousands of viewers.
Yes.
Anything you feel that is important, particularly for our families right across the board?
Well,
and our youngsters.
I'd like to thank my customers. I'd like to thank all the councillors in Birmingham, all the officers in Birmingham, because without them,
of course,
I would be nothing.
And the emergency services, let me also remind you, because no one will forget
look, I mean, the work that the emergency services...
The police, the ambulance, the fire...
I've done what we, you know, I mean, I was very ill when COVID was on. I never had COVID for 3 months. I was very ill. I didn't think I'd be sitting here today, and I got something ongoing. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something now. The work that the Muslim community have done, Brother Javed Iqbal in particular, you know, and others, you know, councillors at Argyll, Majid Mahood, Diane Donaldson, people who have been out there delivering, and not just them. I mean, you know, they just represent the many.
You had councillors from the, like Euston, who passed away. You've got the Lib Dem councillors.
So many people.
The opposition leader, you know, Robert Alderman, the Conservative
leaders.
Yes,
so many people
you
have
know,
done so much.
Many of the councillors,
yes,
right across the board.
So many people, and we all owe them a lot.
Let me also highlight the amount of work and the support the Andy Streets have given you. I know you're working very close with the West Midlands Mayor as well. He's supporting you as well as much as he possibly can, and right across the board, you know, people are supporting you for this great cause.
Do you know what? There's that many people in Birmingham doing that many great things individually, and I've seen this for many years. But you know, if they could get together,
of course,
they could get together.
The unity.
You do so much.
Right.
They all got together because everybody's got a bit of knowledge, and the more knowledge round the table is better.
Of course.
And you know what? Do you know who could inspire us all, I think?
Go on.
And I was trying to think of a name, you know, when I was here, and I'm ashamed I can't think of it. The young girl who got shot in Pakistan, who lives in Birmingham now.
Okay.
And their words was on telly, education, education, education.
Of course.
Because that revolves around everything. Educating people to get on with each other.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think you've touched upon that. Not that I was going to touch upon that, but because you've touched upon that, it's a sad state in some of the areas in Birmingham or the West Midlands or right across the board where we have our individuals. I've done many programs on this, on drugs, on crime, you know, many programs. You know, I've had police commissioners coming and sitting next to me. I've done many programs, even going back 4 or 5 years. I'd had the previous police commissioner, I forgot the name, it's not coming in my head now. I've had the police commissioner now a couple of months back, you know, Simon Foster was here. And Jay Singh and many other people who were candidates at that time. What, you know, I've always been saying this on this program, you know, this country, the United Kingdom, the best country on planet, to be honest with you. That's my view. You know, millions would agree with me. There may be a few that don't, but at the end of the day, you know, United Kingdom, this country has given us everything: health, wealth, jobs, equal opportunity, fairness. It's our job to pay back this country. And how can we do it? Educate ourselves, educate our youngsters, educate our future generation, and make sure that we respect the law, we respect the country, and become civilized. Yes, that word is very important. Civilized individuals of our society, right? Of course we love other countries. I love India, I love Pakistan, I love Bangladesh, I love Japan, I love Africa, I love China, I love everybody. Absolutely no doubt about that. But if anybody asks me in particular, my opinion, out of all of them, who's your number one? I love United Kingdom. That would be my answer. I was born, raised in this country. My children are born and raised in this country. And I owe a lot to this country. And so do you. You owe a lot to this country. And how you can pay back is educate and work to the best of your ability for all our communities. Do not differentiate communities. Do not, you know, build, you know, bridges, you know, between each other. Try to love and respect each other. And when you start doing that, the world's your oyster.
That's right, and I think it's so important that, you know, we work on everybody. The younger kids, I mean, I've got 2 grandkids, you know, 5 and 6, you know what I mean? And they're all old-headed now, all our children now, they go to school, it's a marvellous thing. But these youngsters now, because, you know, when we talk about bad things, what we're happening in the world, and we talk about racism and things like that, what's out there, you know, it's hard to educate somebody who don't want to listen. But the kids are our future. It's the kids. And you know what? I'm going to use this thing to say, because as a showman, believe it or not, we've been discriminated a lot over the years. You know, go to school in the winter, you're different and all that.
Of course you would be.
But you know what I'd love to see? Do you know, in schools, I mean, I don't know whether they do it, because I ain't been to school for a long time, but to celebrate everybody's culture. Do you know, if you get a young kid come into the class, and he might be Polish, for instance, and then that teacher in that class to say, okay then kids, we're going to talk about Poland and all the things what happened in Poland and all the culture of that.
Right. I have to leave you there now. Producers are right in my ears now. We only have 15 seconds. Thank you very much for Robert for coming on. It was a pleasure having you in Your Britain. Always a pleasure to see you back in the next coming, you know, next year, 2022.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
God willing.
On those words, see you next time, same place, same time. Your Britain live every Monday, 5 p.m. UK time. See you. Love, peace, respect for each and every